This is a presentation of my Scorpion figure that I made, that I designed and printed myself. And as you can see, he is based on Scorponok, the Marvel interpretation of Scorpnock. And I have two of them right here to show you that it wasn't just a lucky shot that I am able to make more of them. And this one is a little less advanced than this one. So visually they are the same, but chest of this one is slightly less advanced, so I will be showing everything on this one. So as you can see, they have different facial expressions and you are able to exchange the faces. The heads are very based on the exclusive Redcon head that was made for Redcon 2017, if I remember correctly. I may be making them a bit different. They are changed, but I will be making them probably a bit different. So here is the figure. As you can see, he is posed. The knees probably could use a bit more stiffening that I will do, but for now it's working fine. The face can be changed. This is a screaming face, so you are able to remove the head and change the face. So this is the head without the face, and I have some other faces. I also made black faces, so it's in some comic versions he was drawn like this, so I think it gives him an interesting look, but for the sake of comic accuracy, here's the normal face. Let's give him the normal face. So, and I designed this using Maya and printed this at home. So I'm hoping to make this presentation so that this, the cat hair will be present, so that this will be someday perhaps made into mass production. As for the articulation, I am really proud of the elbows here. As you can see, they can bend, and because the basic drawing has them like this, like a tube, and I wanted to have that look and still for them to be able to bend. So actually, I think this is kind of complicated in comparison to the rest of design, but the pivot point is very close to this edge, and it allows the arm to bend like this. It's not very nice looking from the side, but it gives the articulation to achieve poses like this. The claw also can open, the fingers can move. You can remove this panel so you can see what's inside, but those panels probably can be glued in. And as for the legs, the feet are on the ball joint, and the material I used is very slippery, so it slides very well, very easily on this surface, and probably I will have to glue some rubber to the bottom so it doesn't slide like this. And as you can see, he is very expressive, so you can achieve some interesting poses with him. And so yeah, he can of course stand like this with a neutral pose. And the feet, let's look at him from the back. I have a project for filling out those parts, so there will be a panel covering this part, but for those versions it will not be present. And as you can see, this part can slide a bit down. If you slide it too far, it will fall out, but it allows the figure to have a very wide stance like this. And there is double jointed knee. There is also a joint here, so you can do something like this, and it can rotate at this point, so you can get some nice poses like this. And so from the back again he looks like this. You can remove all this section, so if you want him to have a more comic like look, here's a prototype. Sorry. So here's a prototype, and when removed there is a part here that is missing. That's a mount from this tail, but you can remove the tail and the scorpion legs, so he will look like this. So there is this option. And as for the transformation, let me show you how he transforms. I will transform this one to the Scorpion mode, and then we will look at some scale comparisons and so on. So to transform him, he is truly fully transformable with no parts forming. So move the tail like this, slide this thing down, move everything up like this, move the arms like this and rotate everything. Position the arms up and slide this thing down. Make sure to align everything properly. Okay, now you can move those legs separately. They are a solid piece because of the weight that needs to be held by the whole Scorpion. Probably when done in some kind of a factory, they can be made to look to be jointed, but these are some limitations of the 3D printing, and kind of looks like a face hugger like this. Okay, so this is this part. You have to rotate everything like this. Let me rotate the camera a bit. So the arms, the legs, they plug in here and slide down. It is kind of stiff, but the sound may be scary, but don't worry, nothing is breaking. It's just the plastic rubbing together. Okay, now you have to rotate this like this, and those two parts plug in here. They also lock in this section, so it's a bit hard to me to see, but as you can see they lock in like this, and now the tail can raise and lock in at this point. So now you can rotate the tail here like this and rotate the arm cannons, shoulder cannons I mean. This whole section here can rotate, so it can slide forward, but this is the main look. And also, as you can see, the Decepticon logo is now at the wrong side, so this is a rotating panel that rotates and allows it to be facing forward. And just let me make sure that everything is aligned properly. Looks like it is. So let's open some close, and let's look at him a bit from higher up. So here is Scorpnock in Scorpion mode. As you can see, he is transformed with no parts forming, and everything holds together well. The legs are actually quite stiff. The whole thing should like in place with no problems. And as for the scale, I mainly made him to fit with Power Master Prime. Let's put in the robot mode. I have to rotate the camera a bit again. So here is he side by side in robot mode and Scorpion mode. He is mostly done in color. I only made those stickers, the blue ones here and the orange ones here. The rest is, and of course the logo, the rest is pure plastic. They are hand cut, so they may be not very precise, but you get the idea. And for some scale comparisons, here he is with Power Master Prime, and it was very important for me for them to be the same height, because this is how I remember them from the comic. Since this is a 3D printed project, it can be made in any scale, but this is the scale that was comfortable for me to print, because making one of them takes about 3 days of constant printing, so that's a lot. But this is it. And here are some Decepticons. So I think he scales really well with them, with those Decepticons. Let's move Prime to the side. Here is a Seeker. So this is a Thundercracker. Here is Cyclonus. And from some recent figures, here is Shockwave. So I think his Shockwave is a bit too small in comparison, but it's up to you to decide what's your favorite scale. So here's how he looks with some Decepticons. As for masterpiece figures, here is him with Soundwave. So I think this scale is very much like he looked in the comics, in the Marvel comics. So I think this also works. And for some Autobots, here is the recent Ultra Magnus from the Siege line. So he's obviously bigger. And here is a Sideswipe from this line. Let's get in Blue Streak. This Blue Streak has some mods made by me, the neck and the gun. And here is Jazz, Legends Jazz. So this is how they look together. And let's put in Chrome Dome. That's more in scale with this Sideswipe. And this is Skylynx. I think they look fine together. And I also, if you see Scorpnock more of the Citybot scale, here is some comparisons of the smaller figures. So here is a New Age Prowl, and here is New Age Bumblebee. So this is more of a Citybot scale. Some more figures. They are slightly bigger scale, but they can show you how they look together. So this is Optimus Prime from Hot Soldiers, and this is Magic Square Ultra Magnus and Papa Toys Inferno. So this is how they scale together. So I think this is looking quite interesting. And here are some recent Micromasters from the Siege line. So let's put one in Scorpnock's claw, I mean. So he can hold them like this. So this is your thing, you can do it. And so yeah, so these are some scale comparisons. And I really hope to have this produced in some way. I will be making a limited run of, I think, 6 of them that I will be maybe selling. I will be putting up an auction for this version that it's basically finished. The auction would also have this one, that's one of a kind prototype as a bonus, and also some prototype parts that did not make it to the final version. And so I will be probably also sending one of those to a reviewer, and it's some popular YouTube reviewer. There are some limitations of the 3D printing that could be fixed easily by normal production or injection molding. So if you get this, some limitations are that because I needed the pivot point to be very close to the edge, this is not very fragile, but it can break if you twist it like this. So the best way to rotate the shoulder is to move it like this. If you move it here or here, it would probably not break, but it would deform very easily. And also with these legs, if pushed very far, they can come out. But it does allow they are quite stiff, and it does allow you to have a lot of optional movement if you slide them down a bit, so you can get something like this. So here is a pose. The neck is not pushed in all the way, so but this is it. So I made a lot of effort to make him have balance. So even if some joints are maybe not as hard as I would like them to be, he is made to be balanced very easily on those feet. So as you can see, when standing like this, he is quite secure, I hope. Yes, he is. So but I will be probably adding some weight to the feet so that the level of the weight is down here, because he is quite heavy and a lot of the mass is up here because of the arms, so he could use some mass here. So perhaps maybe if someone gets this project and continues, will make those feet diecast. That would help a lot with the balance. I will be probably showing some 3D versions of him, the way it looks in the program, because I am mostly I work mostly in VFX, so special effects, stuff like this. I made them fully transformable in the 3D program Maya, so he is able to be animated for some promotional videos, and he will be fully rigged for that kind of purpose. And this thing is slid off a bit so we can sit a bit further. So yeah, and I do realize that the some of the parts made here are not optimized for injection molding, but I think the pivot points are all there, and all of the parts are, I think, could be easily modified for some injection molding. And because of the way I designed it, he can be made in a much bigger scale. And the way I did this is, as you can see, they are posed here. So if you print him in a larger scale, the most of the things you have to compensate for are those things here, because you punch them in just like pins, and you can print this much in a much bigger scale, and then you just have to modify this pin. It should be green here, but it's violet right now. But you can modify this, and it can be printed much bigger. Like I said, the limitations are your time. This took me about a month of work. Fortunately, I had some downtime at work, so I was able to make this. As you can see, the face is sliding out because it has to be pushed out of the way. I had some downtime at work, but I hope somehow to be able to make more of them. I would like to make a Fort Max that's very in this scale, a Marvel comic Fortress Maximus that will be his rival. I would like to make that. Fortunately, I don't know how much free time I will have in the future. So if this in some way could be a financial project, I could just take less orders in my regular work and focus on making those figures. So I am wondering, what are your comments? What are your suggestions? To answer some of them right away. I know that he should be at headmaster. I didn't really. I wasn't really a fan of him being a headmaster. I know it's cool and all, but the head, for it to transform, would have to have some very small parts, and there are printer limitations. So I think it can be made into headmaster with no problem, but for now it's just a normal head with facial expressions. Also, there isn't a base mode, because I don't remember him using one in the comics, and even if it's just, I'm not a fan of that mode. So here is a Scorpnock Scorpion project that I made. And like I said, I will be giving a link to the auction with this version and the prototype and some other cool parts, so to see how well it sells and how popular it is. It will be a one-of-a-kind prototype, the green one, so if you're into this kind of things, this one will also be on the auction. It doesn't transform because it doesn't have I mean, it partially transforms, but it doesn't have the scorpion legs, and the arms are solid, and the scorpion tail is not present. But if you like this kind of things, this is a one-of-a-kind prototype, so you can see the process and how it differs from this one, to see how I got to this point. So I will show a few shots from the 3D version and come to the conclusion. Okay, so here is the figure in Maya. This is the program that I am modeling, animating, and using every day. So here is how he looks. Here is his more neutral pose that helps me to align everything. Every object right now is in neutral position, but this is an animated pose that helps me to see him in a more natural look. He has built-in transformation, so as you can see, he transforms into the Scorpion mode, and since there are no collisions right now, the parts intersect, but this helps me to see which part it fits and how to model it, and basically to model it in both modes at the same time. So if I see that something is sticking too far in this mode, I can I'm not sure if you can see the mouse, but if you can, if this part is sticking it too far away in this mode, I can move it right now and see how it fits in this mode. And I will be animating this character, so there will be some cool animation. It is not properly rigged yet because the controls are not that visible, but as you can see, you can move the figure, the joints move just like the regular figure, so sorry, but for now I may be selecting the wrong things, but as you can see, everything moves as it should. This is the elbow, so this moves like this. Also you can move the claw, and each part moves, so this helps me to just to align everything, and this will also make a very cool animation in the future. I think I will do that animation soon to have a small break from all the modeling. And here's just the wireframe, so this is how the edges look. And if you would like to modify this, the pivot points are all set, so these are the bars that help to hold this thing in place. I have an idea to make a panel cover for this back of the leg. I don't know if it will be implemented, but there is definitely room for it. Also inside those big joints, it is possible, let me just select the proper one, inside this one it is possible to make ratchets, so to make an opening inside and make ratchets so the knees are stronger. So there's a lot of options. I have a lot of ideas how to modify this. Anyway, here's how he transforms. It is a technical transformation, so it's not animated in a very very spectacular way, but it gives you an idea of what to do. So this is a project that perhaps can be converted into mass productions by some company. So let's back to the printed figure itself. So before ending, I would like to add some honorable mentions. So here's an 3D printed Ultra Magnus armor for the smaller Optimus Prime. I forgot what his name was, but this is made by Tim Young, and this is a project that he sells that you can print on your own. So this was a big help in making this, because it showed me it can be done. Here's another figure that I like very much, and this is Omnigonic Spinout I really like the design and the engineering in this one, and I was fortunate to have some talk with the designer, so this was also an inspiration. Here is one of my first project. That's a head for DX9 Invisible. I heard that they are making a reissue of this one, so I can give them this head project for free if you would like this to be made into alternative head. So that's one. And here is my rotor storm kit that turns wheel. This is one of my first big projects. It turns wheel into rotor storm. So there's that. So all of those figures in some way helped me to reach to get where I am today. So let's continue. We have a surprise challenger. This is called Looker. As you can see, the project is very cat friendly, so he can be a great companion to your cats if you have them, or dogs perhaps. Look here, look here. He is very busy with himself. Look here. Cut. So here's look at the cat and okay, let's maybe. Okay, I think I will help him find another place. So, again, this is Scorpnock Scorpion project. I would really like to learn how to produce more of them. So, if you can, please share this project with people you know or people who could help me produce them, and I would gladly share my materials if I could learn how to make them better, so that the next project could be better, so that I could improve. And thank you again, and see you at new videos.